Imagine this. Police are called to a routine check on a property. They open a deep freezer, expecting to find forgotten frozen food. Instead, they find a human body perfectly preserved in ice. There's no name, no identification. And strangest of all, no one has reported this person missing. This isn't a scene from a movie. Over the last few decades, police departments across North America and Europe have stumbled upon a deeply disturbing pattern. Different cities, different years, different homes, but the discovery is chillingly similar. A body hidden inside a freezer, sometimes for years, even decades. What makes these cases so uniquely horrifying isn't just where the bodies were found. It's the fact that in so many of them, the victim remains a total mystery. No one knows who they are or how long they've been gone. Most of these stories begin in the most ordinary way imaginable. A landlord enters an apartment that's been abandoned. A relative starts the sad task of cleaning out a home after a family member has passed away. A storage unit, paid for but untouched for years, is finally opened. That's when someone notices the freezer. It's unusually heavy, sealed tight, with duct tape, or sometimes even padlocked. The air grows still as they pry it open. And then time seems to stop. Inside there's a body, often carefully placed, wrapped in blankets or plastic and frozen solid. There are no signs of a struggle nearby, no obvious clues left behind. No wallet, no phone, no documents, just a profound, deafening silence. The scene leaves investigators with a mountain of questions, but one stands out above all others. Why the freezer? As investigators delved deeper, they uncovered an unsettling truth. Freezers don't just preserve food. They preserve secrets. They slow down decomposition to a crawl, which almost completely eliminates the odor that would normally lead to a swift discovery. By hiding a body in a freezer, someone can delay discovery not just for days or weeks, but for years. It effectively freezes time itself. What's truly mind-boggling is that in many of these cases, the person who hid the body continued to live a seemingly normal life. They paid the bills, chatted with their neighbors, went to work every day, all while a deceased person lay frozen just a few feet away. Some of these freezers remained plugged in, humming quietly, in a basement or a garage for 10, 15, even 20 years. The electricity bill was paid on time, every single time, to maintain the frozen tomb. While every case has its own unique and tragic story, investigators began to notice repeating patterns. Some of the deceased were elderly individuals. Some were estranged family members. A few appeared to have passed away from natural causes, while others showed signs of long-term neglect or a clear attempt at concealment. But the most common thread was the absence of a missing persons report. It was as if these people had simply vanished from the world without anyone raising an alarm. In the cases where a person responsible was found alive, their explanations were often heartbreakingly simple, yet profoundly complex. They'd say things like, "I didn't know what to do," or "I was so scared," or "I just couldn't let go." They were paralyzed by grief, fear, or a complete inability to process the death. But in many other cases, there was no one left to explain anything at all. The person who plugged in the freezer was often long gone or deceased themselves, taking the story with them to the grave and leaving behind only the icy puzzle. And this is where the mystery deepens into a truly profound and modern problem. Even today, with all our advanced technology, DNA databases, Sophisticated forensic techniques, digital facial reconstruction, some of these freezer victims remain unidentified. They are nameless. John and Jane Dawes, locked in a cold, anonymous limbo. Why is that? The reasons are as sad as they are simple. Many of these individuals had no dental records or fingerprints on file. They were socially isolated, living quiet lives on the fringes of society. They had few friends or family that had lost touch. In essence, no one noticed they were gone. Think about that for a moment. Some of these victims were missing for decades, yet not a single person came forward to ask where they went. It raises a terrifying question that cuts to the core of our modern, disconnected world. How many people could disappear completely without anyone ever noticing? It suggests a level of isolation that is difficult for most of us to even comprehend. So what are the theories? What could possibly lead to such a bizarre and tragic situation? Investigators and psychologists have proposed several possibilities, each shedding light on a different facet of the human condition. One theory is profound denial and unresolved grief. For some, the death of a loved one is so traumatic that they simply cannot accept it. By preserving the body, they are, in a way, freezing the moment of loss, refusing to move forward. They aren't trying to be malicious. They're trapped in a psychological prison. Another common explanation is fear. Fear of legal trouble, fear of being blamed for the death, or simply the overwhelming panic of discovering a body and not knowing the proper steps to take. In a moment of pure terror, hiding the body feels like the only option. This is often seen in cases involving undocumented individuals or those with a deep distrust of authorities. Then there's the factor of extreme isolation. In households where individuals are cut off from the outside world, a death can go unnoticed, even by those living under the same roof. Mental illness, dementia, or severe social anxiety can create a bubble where normal societal rules just don't apply. And of course, there is the more sinister possibility, intentional concealment. In a small number of cases, freezers were used to deliberately hide a crime. By freezing the body, a perpetrator could buy themselves time, sometimes years, to escape or cover their tracks. But here's the problem with all these theories. No single explanation fits every case. Each discovery opens a new story, a unique tragedy that defies easy categorization. The motives are a tangled web of love, fear, denial, and sometimes malice. Ultimately, what makes the body in the freezer cases so uniquely haunting is how quiet they are. There was no high-speed chase, no dramatic crime scene with sirens wailing, no witnesses to interview. There was just a closed freezer, a plugged-in cord, and years upon years of uninterrupted silence. The world outside moved on, seasons changed, families grew, technology evolved, while time stood perfectly still inside a block of ice. It's a quiet horror, a secret kept not by a person, but by a household appliance. These cases force us to confront uncomfortable truths about our society, about loneliness, about how we care for the vulnerable, and about the people who slip through the cracks. They are part history, documenting the sad end of a life, and part mystery, leaving us with questions that may never be answered. Who were they? Who loved them? And how could they be forgotten so completely? These silent tombs in our midst serve as a chilling reminder that sometimes the most terrifying stories are the ones that are never told. Thank you for watching. If you found this exploration into these mysterious cases as compelling as I did, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. We'll see you next time.